Now, Senator Grooms is going to come up here, and he's going to talk a little bit about abortion and how to end it and what he plans to do. My plan is to introduce a bill. I'm going to let him help me write it out, and then he can introduce it under his name. I don't care who gets the glory, just stop the killing. And I want to be the impetus behind him to do this. My plan is to regulate the industry, not to end it. So if you try to end it, you got to fight with the Supreme Court. But if you as South Carolinians say, we don't want our young women coming to these clinics in unsanitary conditions, so we require that that clinic has to meet DHEC regulations like every medical facility does, number one. Number two, if a doctor is going to end the life of a baby in that facility, he has to be a bona fide doctor who meets DHEC regulations for the state of South Carolina. The abortion doctors coming to South Carolina aren't from South Carolina. They fly them in to do the killing. If we, as citizens, say, no, we want clean, healthy medical facilities, the girls have to see a sonogram of that baby and wait 24 hours before they can do that. Then if they go through all those loopholes, but there's a catch. I have a book in my Bible, in my office called The Hand of God. Dr. Nathanson personally killed 66,000 babies with his own hands. 66,000 abortions with his own hands. Someone led it to the Lord. It was a Catholic who shared Jesus with him. In his book, about halfway through there, he says this. It's all based on money. If the cost goes up, the abortions go down. He says, and how you get the cost to go up is you regulate it. And he said, put a sonogram required. And you regulate the industry and the doctor. And he said, when you do that, the average cost for an abortion now, and I talked with a young girl last week who came to my office, didn't ask her to come. She come and told me how she'd got her baby now. She thought about abortion, but she didn't do it, and thank God. But she said, I want to help end abortion. And I said, would you testify before a committee? She said, yes, I will. I said, how much was they going to cost you? She said, $500. I said, if that cost went up to $700, she said, I couldn't have done it. And she said, I had to scrape up the money without people knowing about it. $500, best I could do. I said, really? I said, if it got to $1,000, she said, oh, I know there's a lot of girls, they just assume have their babies and give them up for adoption. Or quit having babies. You know, that has a tendency, when you know you can't get rid of something you got to take care of, that has a tendency to say, you know, I don't think I'll do this. Or if I'm going to do this, I'll make sure I don't get pregnant. Responsibility, accountability. But when you get a cheap killing, they can do that, $500. So Larry, that's in essence is my bill. I want to introduce and regulate the industry in such a way that these doctors have to be South Carolinians. The other thing that Texas did was the doctor has to be able to admit the girl to a hospital if something goes wrong. See, we don't have that. The girl, if she's down there and she starts bleeding when she comes out, she's on her own. In fact, they have to sign a document saying that. But suppose we South Carolinians said, no. You harm that girl in a procedure, you'll be held accountable, and you will have to have the license to admit her to a hospital. And I got news for you, not a hospital in South Carolina will admit her. Okay? So there's action plans. But I need your help, because when I go after these guys, I'm going to find out who their preachers are. And I'm going to get you to sign with me a petition to these senators, and I'm going to call them out, and I'm going to write their pastors. And if I have to, get a handful of them to stand in front of their church and says, you have a member of your church who promotes killing babies.